Alrighty guys, we are back. Season 2, Episode 2, and my God, we've got a funny guest on today. We've got a special guest, so it's my best friend of almost 20 years, 19. We welcome BJ Keebaugh. BJ grew up in a world of parties, events, and celebrations everywhere. From Melbourne's most well-known event families to now planning his own wedding.
That's true.
He's lived and worked around the world. He's got plenty of stories to share. Welcome, mate.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Andy. Nice to be here.
Was that a nice intro?
It was a great intro. It was nice to hear.
I could go on for sentences and essays and all that, but mate, welcome.
Thank you, mate.
First of all, mate, what was it like growing up in a family where events and parties were literally the family business? I remember, I've got a clear memory, we're tramming home from school, there's 3 trucks on the road, all we want to do is kick the footy, there's red carpets, there's parties. Was that just another day?
Look, it was, ever since I was a kid, from about 25 to 21, I've had the most out there ridiculous parties as a kid can have. I had a sumo party, I had, 16th birthday with people who shouldn't be drinking but are drinking. It was fast and very loose, but from what I saw, it was fantastic. It was bright, it was exciting. I'd go with Dad, and one day we'd be at the AFL Grand Final, or I'd be setting up a big old bar mitzvah. Danny Minogue coming on top of the Sydney Opera House. So it was always something fun and colourful.
Every week, something happening. So was it kind of... it's always been something hosting for you guys. You've always liked putting on, even, this is an example, we're at BJ's Bucks in July, and your dad, he's on holiday mode, but I walk in, there's pasta served, there's an Aperol, so it's in your blood, hosting.
I think the hosting part is how do you bring really interesting and eclectic people together, but make it seamless and easy. So I think what my old man's been able to do throughout his career and does in his personal life is make sure that the mission mash of people are having an easy, flawless time without having to do the extracurriculars. So you speak about an Aperol Spritz, a yummy pasta, or a martini shaken and not stirred.
He's got a good memory of the menu.
He likes to make sure that everyone's comfortable, so it's easy for people to go back and forth. For sure, mate.
And that obviously comes naturally for you guys when when the doors are open, everyone's coming in. Yeah.
So since you'd know this as well firsthand, when we were at our place in Melbourne East, we'd be having people over from Monday to Sunday, and it would be just mates coming over. So it was always very much an open door house, and that was just a very nice thing to grow up, because I've naturally done that with all my different friendship groups wherever I've lived, is try to integrate and bring people together. And I think we were in Greece for my stag, which was very fun. But
weren't we ever?
Yeah, but we had lots of left indicator.
Still recovering.
Yeah. We had all these different people from all these different parts of the world through different experiences that I've had, from studying in the US, working in the UK, and then living in Melbourne, come together. And I think when you host and you're doing an event like that, it's the most important thing is how people spend time together. You host is
and you know what it is as well? It's kind of, if you've got the right crew as well, you could have fun anywhere, to be honest. But obviously Mykonos is...
Well, that's a little...
Let's talk about why we chose Mykonos. Is that a...
Sure.
Was that, just going a little bit off script here, it's just been the place to be? It was always on your radar?
Well, it's funny. To that point, it was, how do I pick a location when I've got people flying in from New York, from London, and from Melbourne. And what was really easy about Mykonos was Aussies in that time of the year are coming over. So no matter where I was selecting, boys were going to be able to have access points. Plus Mykonos is just stupid fun.
It's very twist my arm.
Well, it is twist my arm, and we've done a few tours there together, which I could bring up.
Maybe next.
Maybe let me see episode 3. But it was just a central location. Yeah. People could kind of get there, and the vibe of the island is just partying.
That's actually so true. It's the vibe. Yep. Oh God, nothing like an excuse for Mykonos, but God, what a time!
Is that our 3rd time going together?
I was going to say, how many have we done? I think that's
3rd,
tours. And 3 more to come, at least.
Scandinavian bar,
Oh my God,
that on repeat. Yeah.
Exactly. But change of topic a little bit. We've also got a groom to be.
Yes.
So, mate, I'd love to hear about the steps after your proposal. What did you and Abby do? So, obviously, you dropped the knee.
Do you want me to tell you how I got to the proposal itself? Because that was a bit of a...
I've heard that was a story in itself.
That was an interesting one because it was attempting to be a groom and making that moment very special, but as well as capturing that content as well was an interesting experience.
Send a few DMs somewhere.
Well, it was my original idea where I wanted to propose to Abby was down in Viking Beach in Flinders, and I was going to get yourself to be in a bush to capture it.
Wearing the camo and
And
everything.
I didn't think you in a ghillie suit was probably going to be what my gorgeous Abby would want to see. So I sped up the timeline for Euro Summer 2024, and we were back in Greece on an island called Lefkada. And it's about, you can drive there about 3-4 hours from Athens or fly in direct. And the whole idea was, how can I make this moment as special as possible, as well as make it something very special for us. So what I was able to do was find this very, very cool couple who essentially that's their business, and they do kind of micro hospitality services on the island, and they set up...
Good find.
I know, it was a good find. It was a good find, and they connected with a photographer and did the whole thing. But it was the kind of key breakdown was it was on Vasily Beach, kind of northwest of Lefkada. This is like the bluest water, the whitest sand. And they set up a heart of olive branches.
It's so good. We'll have to attach a photo.
We'll attach a photo. And but I'll never forget, I had the driver come pick us up from our villa. And
what was the heart rate like?
The BPM was probably
300.
550. I was going, and if I had what are you going?
The garden.
That would have exploded. But I had the driver come and pick us up, and there were different cues about where where essentially we were going to get to on the beach. But when the lovely driver was
he doing small chats?
Just doing a bit of small talk. I'm trying to figure out the box, and I've spent a fortune on this diamond, and I'm trying to make sure it's all perfect. But
feeling the pockets.
Just making sure it wasn't in the pocket. It was in the. I'll tell you about that after. But when I got to, there was like a checkpoint where I was like, if we go past this particular point on the beach in the car, Abby will see the surrounding.
Right.
So but there was this bush. Anyhow, I am sweating, nervous. I'm like, this needs to be perfect. So I unfortunately go to the stop. Kind of like,
what?
And then Abby's like, relax, mate. It's just the beach. I'm like, it's not just the beach. There's more.
If only you knew.
Anyway, I was on
the. Did she think you were just going to dinner?
She thought we were just going for a little swim at the beach, and I've told her we're going swimming. We've got a nice little restaurant. So I think she had an inkling, but when we got to there, I've wanted to open up the door for her so she doesn't poke her head around. But I didn't realise behind us there was this beautiful, gorgeous taverna with about 300 people there.
What's a taverna?
Taverna's like a Greek restaurant.
Okay.
Like on the beach bar.
Yep.
And I've kind of...
So you've got the crowd.
I've got a crowd. And I don't remember it being there, but it was there, and that's fine. And essentially, we've gotten there. Abby's looked up and seen the crowd of people. She goes, strange. And I'm like, literally, that's what it felt like. So she turns the corner and she sees the big spread, and she's just gone, oh my god, and she's just bursted. And then I've walking her down, done the, you mean the world to me. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you.
Speech down the steps.
Fully.
Yep.
But I had the box, and there's a photo, and I opened up the box the wrong way. I'm like, oh no. So I quickly opened up the box, and she saw it, and she said yes. And then you've just got like these woohoos and cheers, and I'm like, oh my god, this is too much.
Guys, back to your dinner.
But to your industry, I had this lovely photographer named Stavros, and Stavros.
Of course, his name was
Stavros. Stavros was the name because he had this drone, and I've just will you spend the rest of my life with it? And I just looked
giant
up,
mosquito in the air.
He got every single photo, and it was the best decision to have a bloke like Stavros and like yourself to just capture it, because we've got it forever. And
amazing.
They're great photos.
How did you find all the posing and all that after? Were you
really
into it?
I found it really tricky.
Okay.
I was trying to
Soak it up a little
I was
bit,
trying to be there and be there present, but I respected that, capturing that moment. There's a
gallery.
Is a gallery, but it's a memory that you last and you snap. And a lot of people, I think our age especially, there's a negative connotation towards not being there and trying to be on the
getting the heroes shots a little bit.
More like finding it quite tricky to justify it. Like, why do we need to do that if we're going to have a memory? I think it was the best decision ever that we captured it, because we do have these unbelievable photos which we'll have forever, and you do feel very uncomfortable being like, oh my god, I've got a smile and there's 350 people looking at me. And
did you have to, please be honest, did you have to drop the knee again for the photo?
I don't think so. No,
okay.
I don't.
Okay.
It was pretty.
Because I've seen that before. Again?
No, Stavros was really in the hips and knees and was really, really getting him out.
Where was he hiding when you were
behind another bush? It was a big.
He wasn't in the restaurant.
No, he was a sturdy fellow as well, and he had. I'll never forget Stavros. He had these fantastic Havana thongs. And Stop. And the poor bugger, it was so hot, he was sweating bullets, and he was trying his hardest to do
he was getting low in everything. I love that. So, that sounds like the most beautiful day, mate. So from there, where have you gone from, alright, we need to plan a wedding? Obviously you got quite a good phone book, but obviously, how have you found kind of going from, this is Abby and our wedding, but, I'm sure there's a few cooks in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are a few cooks in the kitchen. Well, I think there's two things.
Yeah.
So we had a beautiful engagement party in December that was essentially celebrating that kind of core moment. And we could have a much wider group of people that we want to make sure that they're included in our special day. And that was a really nice little milestone event, because we obviously live abroad in London. That kind of could be back here and focus it on everyone we want to be included. Obviously for a wedding it's a much tighter list, because you've got family, you've got other people, but that was just a really nice milestone one, because you could kind of bring everyone on the journey.
Party, have some fun.
Exactly. And so that was really a nice thing for us to be able to do, because it was just everyone we loved and could celebrate with. But to the point of an actual wedding, it does help when your father has been doing parties for 35 years and mum having the eye for detail that she does. But it was about, how do we make this absolutely, 50-50 Abby and myself, where it's not just a big old Keebaugh affair. It's like, how do we make this a beautiful event for the Green and Keebaughs to kind of come together? And I think something that's been really nice is my family haven't really been leading the charge for the creative decisions. It's been Abby, it's been the team itself kind of positioning it. We had our first proper creative run through at the big group the other week, and it was fantastic. Like it was the mock-ups, the creatives, just the conversation of, we've roughly got about 3 or 4 different events, and they're all such different
themes,
experiences, and they're kind of catering to different guests, because we've got about 60 to 65 flying in, and then there's a home base of our family and friends who live here. So it's kind of, how do you curate that experience over 3 to 4 days?
They've got the answers.
And I think that the biggest thing about it is making sure that Abs is owning and loving the experience.
I've just got goosebumps.
The creative, right? Well, it's her moment. It's our moment, but it should be her story that she's to lead in and love. So I think it's...
man, that's beautiful. So kind of going on to that, is there some must-haves that you two...
Must-haves?
Yeah, that you two have kind of
so a few big decisions. So there is... The first one was, do we want to have a religious ceremony, or do we want to have a more open-ended one with a celebrant? And Abby's folks, her mother is a religious woman, and it was like, that's just a nice thing to do, to have a vicar.
Lovely.
And
beautiful.
We've got Mr. Peter, or Reverend Peter French, who's a lovely man who we've been seeing over the past kind of 3 to 4 months, kind of learning about the process, and he's got this great line where it's like, you're not getting wedded, you're getting married. So it's about, how do you make sure that you're as present as you can be within that ceremony. Reverend French is the man. He knows what he's doing. I think it's cool. And so that was a really nice decision that, Abby's side of her family appreciating that. That's something really important.
That's lovely. Yep.
As well as how we.
I'd love to hear your must-haves. Yeah.
Well, do you know what my must-haves are? Literally what we were describing earlier. The people around the table who are making the time investment to be here. Because essentially someone's going to take a day off work, someone's going to jump on a plane, someone's going to spend a fortune to get down there.
Yep.
So it's hopefully just a bucket load
just a
of
lot of fun. That's all you want.
A bunch of good music, a bunch of good drinking, and a bunch of laughter. And getting into
I have a feeling it will be. Yeah.
But I don't think the must-haves are. It's dependent on the relationship. But ours is. We wanted it to be in our favourite spot where Abs and I's kind of love grew, which was down the peninsula in Nairn Ridge.
Yep.
And then it was about how do we make the ceremony feel like as much as us as possible. So we're not having an indoor wedding, we're having an outdoor wedding. So hopefully the weather's come for us.
Feb. I think you'll be. And how was it kind of picking a date? Was that kind of something that you've always wanted around?
It's a good question.
Yeah, because it's like...
Well, you know what?
Pre-post Christmas.
Well, my birthday is on the 15th of February 1996, but for every major birthday, it's been on Valentine's Day. So I've had people who...
It's always been a dinner for two?
Well, it's always been...
Or 200?
Well, it's meaning like whenever I've had like a milestone birthday, like an 18th or 21st or whatever, it's always been like...
It's always been a very loving weekend.
It's always been a lot of love. I think it was my 18th birthday.
Oh, that's right. Dress up in red.
No, what was it called? It's going to sound bad, but it's not a traffic stop party or a traffic light party where it's different couplet. It is essentially. It's a traffic light party where it's your single status was represented by what you were wearing. So if you were in red, you were in love. If
that's
you were white,
right.
you were single,
Black is confused or something.
Yeah. So we had like a full colour palette, and it was all the girls dressed up and looked unbelievable, and all the guys had like a little pocket square and regarding there. So it was a big old love affair, not a P Diddy love affair, but like it was just a very very fun old party. Right.
So this week, so your weekend, you're like, let's just do a wedding into your birthday. That is insane.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Well, it was fun because it's my 30th birthday, so it's like a nice milestone event, and it's I think for us, I think when we're living abroad. It's such a nice, thing to kind of marry different milestones together, and to celebrate a fun old 30th. And my favourite thing in the world is kind of country western music. I'm a bit of a struggling John Dutton from Yellowstone. That's my dream. And,
no, it's still young.
You never
still
know.
Practicing.
You never know.
Are we going to get a little performance on one day?
Little wagon wheel, a little. I can do it all. Darius Rucker, Luke Cohen.
I have a feeling you might get confident on that day.
And whiskies in. We'll
Two whiskies. I love how our birthdays, we've always got something. I've got grand final. You've got Valentine's.
Hopefully,
2 weeks away. Just letting everyone know.
September 27th.
There we go.
Maggies.
Everyone, take note. Okay, so just finishing up on that. So you've picked the weekend, picked the themes, picked the days, and then it's just kind of. Is it just snowball effect from there a little bit? We've obviously picked the majors, and then from there, obviously, kind of theme, guest list.
Yeah.
Was the guest list fun, by the way? Sharpies out? Or?
Well, do you know what the tricky thing is? You've kind of got to... There's limitations, because it's like we're going to have around 180, 190 due to the venue capacity at our second event. But it's how you split that down the middle, and the green side had 90, we had 90, and then it's how you fill that in. So, as well as, Abby's got different group of mates. I've got a different group of mates, but I don't have a different group of mates. The Greens do. So it's how do you build it out based on who you want to be there. So I think it was that guest list is really about making sure all the people that from family to dearest friends, to make sure it's everyone who want to be there on this special day.
Absolutely. I found I've heard a lot from past clients and guests and all that you kind of want to bring everyone there you've met before.
Yeah.
Are you bringing anyone in that you haven't met? Was that something?
No, it definitely was something. But I think for me, there's a few people that are in that kind of camp. But if the people that I'm choosing as kind of my nearest and dearest best mates, and that's their person that, you know, hopefully is the love of their life, or in whatever capacity. It's an absolute pleasure to, you know, host them.
Of course.
So yes, absolutely, but it's trying to not limit it, but make sure that if that person really is coming, that they are a forever.
You're committed?
Well,
yes.
I
know what you mean.
No, but it's like, I don't want you.
You've been dating for 2 weeks
or Harry, who I don't
know.
If it's someone for a year or two, absolutely, bring them along.
Absolutely.
Another plate.
See you on the dance floor.
See you there.
On another note, mate, obviously travelling lifestyle overseas has been huge for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Since, I think, we finished school, you were out the next day.
Yeah,
you're off to Texas or
I was
something.
off to Texas.
Mate, you've lived and worked overseas, but always have come back to Melbourne. Is Melbourne the perfect base for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think so. When I was 18, I jumped on a plane and did, as you described, Camp America in Texas, and found my music, found my people. I loved it.
What a trip!
It was excellent. Anyway, and then did a gap year and did it all across Europe and the US, and then kind of came back. Went to university in Boston, worked in the US for a bit in New York, and then went over to London with Abs when we kind of were ready for that stage. So absolutely needing to be abroad and be around, being in uncomfortable situations. And that's kind of something I've always loved, is having to be on, having to be curious, having to meet people. And I think back to the guest list, like the people in that room reflect that.
Mate, that's so true.
Which is really fun. But I think Melbourne, what I love about Melbourne when I get off the plane, it is so consistent. And some people might hate that.
Yeah.
I love it because it's, you walk back and you hear a Qantas lady say, "G'day."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you've got me. Then it's like going to the MCG and having a scooter express car. I'm sold. My favourite food in the world is a schnitz. That's my...
That's right.
Ride or die.
There's
just basics. Especially Australian people. I think when you're around Americans, you're around the British, they've got their own culture and their own language about how they communicate, and, you know, they show their love. But I think Australia for me is like, there's not a better country or not a better city than Melbourne.
And you think you'd raise a family?
Oh, for sure. That's the goal one day, is to be back over here doing some big things in whatever capacity, like yourself, like 10 acres.
Thank you.
But being in the home ground, because it's just, for me, it's like being around family, being around all my closest mates. And I think also where we are in the world now, it's like just, Australia is so lucky about where we're positioned, and it's safe.
Got the routine, it's wholesome, it's
very
routine, isn't it?
Let's go from world politics to routine, but absolutely.
It's so funny you were saying when you get off the plane, it's g'day, because I remember when I from just leaving Italy, it was like buongiorno, and then come up, they're like, check-in baggage down there. I'm like, good to be home.
Fine. I love when you get to Tullamarine and it's like, you know, every single person in the world has got this stupid yellow ticket, and then you've got to wait 3 hours to try and get up, and you declare anything you're not, and they say, "Welcome home."
Yeah, I know. That's all. They're like, yes.
This was more stressful than the 16-hour bloody fly.
We haven't fixed this yet.
Doha.
Yeah. From Doha.
I love it.
Oh, mate. So Melbourne's just kind of you love coming back.
I love coming back. I think we want to do a stint in Sydney just because that's pretty iconic Australia.
Yeah.
Have an absolute just a different life experience up that way. But when we buy a property and when we go to that next stage of kids and all the fun things, I don't think there's a better city in the world than Melbourne.
And just quickly, London last 2 years,
two and a half
years. It hasn't been what you thought it's been?
You know what? Absolutely it has.
Yeah.
I think the big things, I had some big tick boxes that I really wanted to achieve. One was higher education and doing my MBA. Others were growing, professionally where I'm working and doing some really cool projects.
Yeah.
And I think the network of people that I've met in the UK has been probably the best experience I probably could have had. I've got a mentor at work who's, a ride or die.
They're rare to get, good mentors.
I completely agree, and I got very lucky with mine. And then having the opportunity to, pursue further education, which is something very important to me, it's just been great. And then proximity to Europe, to travel.
Oh, I was going to say.
To meet a bunch of interesting global people has just been really, really cool.
Is the travel, is that still sunk in? It's like, let's just Barcelona Friday?
It's funny. I was thinking, it is that though. Like, there's a bunch of Aussies who are living over there at the moment, and it's going on a plane going, should we go to Reykjavik in Iceland this weekend? And it's like, let's go down to Greece and go jump in the water. Then let's go to a Christmas market in Salzburg, Austria.
I love refreshing Instagram, and I wake up and you're in an igloo. I'm like, okay.
Where's he this week?
I wasn't ready for that.
That's all right. Play on. Oh, that's funny.
I'm just having a toasty,
but
and you're in an igloo.
I think we all chase. Aussies just want to go over that part of the world for that experience of having that ability. Like, Tasmania's great, New Zealand's unbelievable, Sydney's great, but it's a similar repeat. But the culture and just the time that you have up your sleeve to go check it out.
I was going to say, kind of expanding on that, like if anyone was thinking of doing that 2-year visa, absolutely,
literally, I've done I did, what did I do? H1B in the US. You do in LA, you do in New York, and that's a different route. But it's once again jumping on a plane and putting yourself out there. But the UK one is it's seamless because we're in the Commonwealth. I've got the Ancestry visa, which is 5 years. But everyone who's done the youth mobility, it's the same game, and I think you can extend it 1 year. But
thanks, Poppy.
Oh well, Poppy's my grandfather, who's English. But I think absolutely, if you're not,
especially in your 20s, go for it.
If you're not jumping on a plane or doing something interesting that the rest of the pack aren't doing, it's going to be a very, we said the word consistent in a great light when you're returning, but I think you do have to get outside of your day-to-day routine.
Absolutely. It's only growth.
Only
a little
growth.
bit. There you go. And Melbourne, you can always come back for that schooner and MCG, whatever you want.
And your schnitz.
Mate, final one. Obviously, we've been mates for forever. Amazing memories. If you had to, love to just kind of a little reminisce, a little twist.
Yes.
Has there been a fun memory that comes to mind that you just
want
to stitch me up in?
So we've had the ability to jump on a lot of planes together, and we've done, as we said earlier, 3 trips to Mykonos.
A lot of spinning napkins.
A lot of spinning napkins, trip to Ibiza, we've been to Thailand a few times, and if you know, you know. But I think one of my all-time favourites was we had this day, and we were in Venice. And I think it was we just kind of done a little tour of a few different islands together. We were about to kind of depart, and you were going to come back to Melbourne, and I was going on to, I think, my old man's 50th. But the funniest thing was we were sitting in St. Marco's Square in Venice, and we were like, we've got a day, 10 hours to kill. There was another mate who was coming to meet us, Joe, from Liverpool, and we were like, let's go to Zara. And the whole game was, I had €50, he had €50, and we had to pretty much wear for whatever the day was.
Did we dress each other or ourselves?
No, we dressed each other. I dressed you, dressed
That's
me.
right.
So I had this horrible striped shirt and a Portofino hat with like these revolting like some.
I think you liked it more than you thought.
I love the story of it.
Okay.
I don't think St. Marco's Square needed my big old head in the Portofino. It was. I think that's probably the consistency of our friendship, the spontaneity, the bloody laughs, the character we have, but also just you don't know where your night's going to end up or your day. And I think something amazing about you, especially with all the amazing stuff that you're doing, is you're just always authentically you. You hustle for what you want, and being your friend and seeing your growth trajectory with 10 Talk to 10 Acres to seeing it all has been such a pleasure, because it was such a different path. And the one thing that you've done without hesitation is hustle across different avenues: fashion, music, now photography, and you've just found your niche. And I just think it's an absolute testament to, there isn't one right path. There's not one, one thing that you need to do. I think the best advice I've ever been given is whatever the pack is doing, look ahead and do something completely different. Because that's how you'll be remembered. So I think it's...
wow. Thanks, BJ.
That's
very nice.
Very proud.
Oh, we'll leave on that high note, I think. It's, couldn't be happier, to be honest. Thanks, mate. BJ, thanks for coming in, mate. Right. we're off to Paris. 2
We
weeks,
are.
3 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
10.
Oh, get
Yeah, we'll get the berets out. Go back to Sahara.
That's it. Thanks, guys.